What's a piece of information you learned that now feels almost illegal to know? You can ask the FBI if they have a file on you. When I was a kid, my dad taught me how to pick a lock. I became very interested in different kinds of locks and purchased a lockpick set. I practiced for years and became pretty good at certain types of locks. So over the years, every now and then, if a neighbor locks themselves out of the house or a friend loses the key to a padlock or a lockbox, I've been able to help. But the reactions I tend to get from people, even while I'm helping them with their lock, is mainly one of mistrust. I'm not a cat burglar. I just like locks. In Canada, you can record any conversation with someone without their knowledge, unless it is in furtherance of an offense. 51 is divisible by 17. Now that's the sketchy stuff I came here for. It takes 3 full rotations to remove a human head due to the skin's elasticity. This is England knowledge. Other countries may vary. If you are struggling to pay bills, make water the first one you skip. Access to water is protected by law, so the utility supplier cannot cut you off. Edit. Thanks for all the replies, but, honestly, I don't think I need anyone else to tell me this doesn't apply in the US. I worked for a giant tech company and apparently share the same name as a very high-up hardware engineer. Got put on email threads I definitely didn't belong on. Edit. On a similar funny note, one of my friends with a common name at the same company got a promotion. Our manager searched his name in the system, clicked the first she saw, and promoted him. Well, it was the wrong guy, and the guy she clicked on was also very high up, and in return it made him lose a bunch of his access, pay, benefits, etc. I don't know if it's still a thing, but if you listen to Pandora Radio, the songs download into your temp folder under your browser. Just add the MP4 after it and you can play it. I spent lots of college listening to Pandora, and if I liked a song I'd save it. If you pause the song in time, then the most recent song was the top one in the temp folder. How to make explosives with everyday home products. Edit. I posted this innocuous message before bed and it went wild. I learned this info back in college in the early 80s but never used it. The guy the first got the information from did, so I know it worked. And no, I will not share it. It's all over the internet, so a quick search can find a lot of ways. Edit 2. Not the anarchist's cookbook. It was a friend who was in an advanced chemistry class. Guy knew all sorts of stuff. Later in life I had a gold claim that I invited him to a lot. There was a massive boulder we had been trying to move to get the gold under it. One weekend he brought up some jars and told us to shut off all the walkie-talkies and car radios. He mixed up something and said it is so sensitive that radio signals can trigger it. He put it in a hole we drilled in the boulder and told us to hide behind the trees and not look until after. Don't know how he triggered it or what it was, but it blew that boulder into pebbles. All the stuff in the area was shredded from the rock, becoming projectiles and embedding in trees. Guy was a bit of a nut. I told him to never bring that shit again. Well, I gave my 9th grade chemistry class a detailed report on diacetylmorphine, heroin, for a project about organic molecules, including how to make it. It was pretty interesting to do and fun to present, but I feel like I broke the law somehow. 90% of home locks are easily pickable with a little know-how and a couple pieces of metal. 1284X is a Ford fleet key. Not chipped, can be found on Amazon for $7 and perfectly legal to replicate. Searching 1284X, file type, .pdf site, .gov will pull government bids that involve that key, and also show you what agencies you could open up or drive away a police car. When you have a debt with a collection agency, you can pay the debt and then call back a few weeks later and say, I was told when I called and paid that you'd remove this from my credit score. And then you ask for documentation saying they're gonna do it. Apparently collection agencies don't keep super good records on stuff like that. They just want your money. It worked for me, and I hope it can work for you if you need it in the future. Aluminum foil can block the theft's detection signals in supermarkets. Most large retail employers don't have a policy against recording your interactions with your bosses. You can ask scientists for their research paper that you usually have to pay money to view in a journal. They are allowed to just email it to you, no questions asked, and they like to do it. When you're on a jury, you can vote for someone as innocent even if you think they did it. Most common reasoning for this would be if you just think that they shouldn't be punished for whatever they did. I can't remember the term for it, something like third option. Jury nullification. It's definitely a thing in the US. It is legal to grow opium poppies in the United States, but only if you don't know they can be used to make drugs. How to make thermite. I don't know why. Thermite itself isn't actually all that useful or destructive. It burns hot, sure, but it's not going to melt anything very well without a proper vessel to contain and direct the heat into the thing you want to melt. Edit. Why the fuck is everyone melting people's engines with it? WTF did they do to you to require that sort of a response? The tricks doctors use to distract you when they're trying to check your reflexes. Read a personal finance book that recommended calling your providers once a year, credit card companies, TV, internet providers, cell phone company, etc., and demand a lower rate or price. I've been following that advice for 2 years and have not been denied once. Last week I saw a commercial for my internet provider offering a super low introductory rate, so I called to demand that I get that rate. They said no problem, and now I save an extra $700 a year because of a 5-minute call. I am a very passive introvert, so it's not the most easy or comfortable thing, but the money I save is worth it. They may say no initially, but if you ask a few times or ask to speak to their supervisor, they very usually give in. Edit. The book is called I Will Teach You to Be Rich. Cringy title, awesome book. IMO. Creating nitrogen triiodide. When in liquid form, it is stable, but once it dries so much as a fly landing on it creates a purple smoke explosion. It's so unstable that alpha radiation can be used to detonate the stuff. It's actually easy to get the materials and create the stuff. Filled my high school hallway stairs with purple smoke on the last day of school. I had a stats professor who used to work for the US government. I'm not sure exactly what his job was, but it definitely involved evaluating the status and readiness of nukes, both ours and the USSR's. He was probably at least 70 and had been retired from that job for a while. One day in class he just started talking about the percentage of nukes that fail, ours and theirs, and why they fail, and all kinds of other, seemingly sensitive, information. I don't think he would have told us anything classified, but his personality was boisterous and irreverent enough that I am not sure. I literally expected a team of spooks to bust down the door at any minute and drag us all off for interviews in windowless rooms. Hospitals have but don't tell you about a program to reduce your bills depending on how much you make. You can go to their website and find a usually hidden link for financial assistance policies and really cut your bill down. When companies ask for your name, age, sex, race, occupation, salary, etc., you can just lie. You'll never be able to remove the information about yourself off the internet, but you can muddy the water quite a bit. Below are complete instructions on how to hack an electronic road sign. 1. The access panel to the electronic road sign is protected by a tiny lock which is often left unprotected. After you wiggle the lock open, you can usually see the display electronics. 2. Next, seek out the black control panel which is attached to the access panel by a curly cord and a keyboard as its face. 3. Not too difficult so far, is it? In terms of programming, you simply scroll down the menu to Instant Text and type in whatever you would like to display. Hit enter to submit and your message are good to go. If you need more than one page to send your tasteful message, you can add more pages by selecting Add Page. So if you are still struggling to reach the third step, no worries. If the sign does ask for a password, try dots, the default password. If the motivated crew member did decide to change it, no worries, enter DIPY which will automatically reset the sign's password to dots. Have fun. Police are allowed to lie to you. So are military recruiters. Confidence can open a lot of doors. A lot of times, you can get away with more with some swagger than you otherwise would being meek about it. There is a book called 100 Deadly Skills that teaches you how to do all sorts of potentially illegal stuff. You can go anywhere so long as you're carrying a ladder.